We just got Alp Arslan in Rise of Kingdoms, and we now see 3 new legendary commanders, or what I assume to be legendary commanders, revealed at the latest in-person meetup for Rise of Kingdoms. So today we're gonna jump in and go over everything that was just revealed. But before we jump in, of course, what's going on, guys? Cheers. Now, as you guys know, I'm a sponsor partner creator with Rise of Kingdoms, so if you want more Rise of Kingdoms content, breaking news, drop a thumbs up on the video. That is the #1 way to support your favorite creator. And I gotta say, I literally just walked in the door like an hour, not even an hour ago, from vacation, and I can't believe that they basically waited for me to get home from Japan to release this update. So I thank the Rise of Kingdoms developers for that. Obviously that is just not true at all. That is not what happened. In fact, it would have been nicer if they released this tomorrow, because I literally didn't even unpack or anything. I just rolled the suitcase in here and hit record. Also, my mouse stopped working while I was away for some reason, but I don't know. Anyway, let's jump right in here, because I actually completely forgot that there was an in-person meetup in Vietnam, and I actually don't think that the developers or anybody posted anything about this meetup or its contents besides these images. And by that I mean, I don't think there's any patch notes, there's no summary. I checked the official Rise of Kingdoms YouTube channel, I don't see a video there, I don't see any tweets. So all we have to go off of is this, unless there's something else that I'm missing, in which case you guys can let me know in the comment section below. But let's jump right in here. The first thing they talk about is major feature improvements regarding army groups. Now, army groups are kind of like official piloting. I mean, that's kind of how I see it. It's like you can send your army for another player to control, and it is a feature that is mostly well received. I think some people don't like it that much, but really, of all the times I've encountered this system, I haven't personally found any major problems with it. But here we see that they are improving it, making it a little bit better. So here they put a new join button on the army group page, which allows for quick access without extra taps. So you literally can just tap right in here and join it immediately. And then on top of that, when you create your army group, it says select recommended unit types when creating army groups, making setup and coordination easier. So instead of having to tap into it to see, okay, what is the troop type that most people are putting here, now it just literally just shows the actual troop type right here. Okay, and you can even filter it, which is kind of nice as well. So this is kind of like a minor improvement, but it is a nice little upgrade here. The next thing they revealed is rally improvements. Set unit type and level requirements for rallies. So it's no longer a recommendation, it seems like it is now a requirement, which means that in theory it should be impossible for somebody to send the wrong troop type to a rally, which is great. Although I guess with anchors you'll have to also check the siege box as well, so maybe people are going to still mess that up, I'm not sure. But in theory, okay, if you want to launch a rally full of tier 5 archers, then you just click the tier 5 only button, you click the archer button, and in theory you should be able to only get that. Okay, that's how I'm interpreting this, because I mean, frankly, before we already had this up top here. So when it says set unit type, I'm assuming that what they mean is that you can only add that troop type, right? Because if it's just a recommendation, we already had that in the game. Does that make sense? And then also you can sort of filter this by tier 3 and above, tier 4 and above. So if you're looking to join a rally that's only tier 4 and above, you can filter that. I don't know how many people are going to actually use that in the end game, but I guess this is also going to be kind of nice in new kingdoms where, you know, everyone's still working towards getting to tier 5, and you're working on those lower level forts, those barb forts, and you're like, okay, I only want people who have tier 3, that sort of thing. So that's kind of cool. Okay, next up we have visual effect priorities. Okay, reduce device strain from low priority effects, highlighting key battle elements. This is really important, especially for people who are using older devices, older computers, older phones. What we can see here is that comparing before and after, the frames per second, which is, it's very small here, it's a little bit faded, but before it was 25 frames per second, now they're getting 34 frames per second, slightly higher CPU and GPU usage, which is interesting, the same memory usage, but yeah. So I'm assuming what we're looking at here is 2 screenshots of the exact same sort of battle being simulated on the same exact device, and what they're saying is that it'll not only be clearer, right, which is obvious, right? I mean, here you can see all of the active skill firings take up a lot of space, it's glowing, it really takes a lot away from what you can see, and then over here at least you can see better sort of the fan shape of the Guan Yu, for example, and things that sort of actually matter, which is nice. And of course there's an improvement in frame rate, but also at the cost of higher CPU and GPU usage, I'm assuming. I mean, that's what we see right here based on the numbers. So overall, better frame rate is better visual effect priority is better. So I'm glad to see that they are making some improvements improvements here. Frankly, a lot of people still use dot mode, myself included, so I don't know how much this is going to impact myself, but if we can eventually get to a point where, you know, you don't have to play in dot mode, that would be better for the just longevity of the game, right? I mean, when people download Rise of Kingdoms, I don't think their expectation is that at the very end game they're going to be right clicking gray and red diamonds, right? Like, that's not exactly the most compelling gameplay, especially to look at or to live stream, right? If you want to make content about Rise of Kingdoms and you want to do live streams and then people click into a rock live stream and it's just you right clicking, you know, red diamonds, it's like, wow, from an outsider looking in, it looks really boring, when in fact the battles themselves are actually quite epic. It's just the best strategy is to not even see any of that, right? So again, how much we're actually going to notice this if we keep playing in dot mode, I don't know. This is a step in the right direction, and hopefully one day we can play where it actually looks like a war game again, but we'll have to wait and see. The benefits of dot mode just are hard to get around, really. Anyway, moving on. Officer marker reminder: prevent missed messages and quickly relay coordination / management commands. Okay, so here you can see a absolutely gigantic plaque that pops up right here that says Alliance Fortress must be protected, and it looks like we have a clickable link that brings you directly to the coordinates, which is nice, especially if you have, you know, multiple flags being defended at the same time. Maybe in Kingsland, for example, it can get pretty hectic. You're trying to figure, okay, who needs to be garrisoned where? Boom, here you go. Now everyone's exactly on the same page and it's impossible to miss. Even if people turn off markers, you can at least make sure that they see this. The big question is, will you be able to see this in dot mode? I suspect you will be. Otherwise, this is, again, might be a little bit of a letdown, but we'll have to wait and see. All in all, a nice improvement here, especially for leadership. Moving on to new events, Riddles of the Sphinx. Okay, so here we see it says get ready to take on a memory quiz with your team. Who has the best recall? So here you can see question 3, how many witch are there on the map? And here you can count 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, the answer is 6, obviously. This looks like, I mean, as you can see off on the right, there's a bunch of different players, and it looks like you'll be able to do this with different kingdoms as well. So there's assuming some sort of matchmaking as well. I'm curious to know what this entire event looks like, because obviously there's going to be a lot more questions as well, and what the rewards are going to be as well. That's going to matter a lot, obviously, but this is good. I think, you know, these sorts of events, I think, kind of get brushed off by the sort of hardcore community in Rise of Kingdoms, the people that really just play the game for KVK, or they only play for Ark of Osiris. They don't really care for events like this. But personally, for me, I think it is important for Rise of Kingdoms to have a variety of events that have differing gameplay rather than just the core, you know, put an army on the field and fight things, whether PvP or PvE. I think it's very important for the game to have a variety of events that, you know, are a little bit outside the box. They're a little bit weird. They don't necessarily make that much sense, but it's just for the casual player, for the new player, to just do something new. And so this is a step in the right direction, even though this feels a little bit weird. Like, why are we doing a memory quiz in a war game, right? Like, it's for the casual players, right? And I think more events like this are going to be good. So hopefully we get more things like this, and hopefully the rewards are good as well. Moving on, we see Treasure Hunter. Okay, now they made this very clear that this is for reference only. Final content may vary. Okay, so they made sure that you cannot look at this page without seeing that, so I want to at least mention it here. Okay, this might change completely by the time it lands in the game, but they said make claiming rewards a little bit more fun. Plan spaces carefully and try to fit in as many high value rewards as you can. Now a silver key is not necessarily a high value reward, okay, but I'm curious to know, like, how exactly this is going to work. Like, where I guess, right, like if you want the gold sculpture and you have to drop this 3 tile block here, well then, okay, you've only got 1 square left, so like, I don't know, maybe you pull the silver key over. We're gonna have to actually, like, oh, it looks like you can rotate these as well. Okay, so that makes things a little bit more interesting. We'll have to wait and see how this actually works when it lands in the game. And it looks like you can spend some number of gems potentially to get more squares, so you'll be able to unlock more of the rewards here. So yeah, I like this, but really we'll have to wait and see, you know, when it comes to the game, and you know, how many gems is it going to cost and how much can you get out of this as free to play. I think that could be really cool. I mean, really, any new source of legendary commander sculptures is going to help brand new and free to play players a ton, especially because we're getting 3 new commanders, which we're going to talk about in this video in just a second. But here we've got a World Cup event. I don't think we've ever seen them do this before, but the World Cup is kicking off. Join the in-game betting event and win great rewards. So just like with Osiris League, you can bet on whatever alliance or kingdom you think is going to win. It looks like we're going to be doing something similar for the World Cup. I don't think we've ever seen Rise of Kingdoms do sort of a tie-in with real world events that are completely unrelated to the game itself. So but at the end of the day, like, the World Cup this is like the biggest sporting event in the world. It's almost not even close, right? So I think that there is a large overlap of players that care about the World Cup, and so having an integration in Rock is kind of cool. As somebody who lives in New York in America, as just, I mean, frankly, as a white dude who doesn't really watch soccer or understand it, I don't know anything about this at all. So maybe you guys can let me know in the comments who you think is going to win the World Cup, and hopefully you can help me get some rewards here, because there is going to be a shop, and so making the right choices here is going to be important if you want to make sure you max out the shop. Now, we don't know what the shop is. We don't know if it's like, you know, one legendary commander sculpture, one legendary blueprint, or whatever, maybe material choice chest. I don't know, but either way, this is kind of cool. Next up, we have a new commander outfit, Achilles Lyric Reprieve. So this is a brand new outfit for our boy Achilles, and this is really cool because, as you guys know, we did recently get new commander outfits for Scipio Prime and for Joan Prime, and they looked really nice and they look awesome on the battlefield. But the big question for the community was like, why would you put a new commander outfit in the game for commanders that are kind of either out of the meta or really soon to be out of the meta, revived almost entirely and exclusively by Wedge 2, and with the next commander release, surely they'll be gone, right? That being said, Achilles is totally different, right? He is definitely in the Cav meta right now, and he will be for the foreseeable future, and so I think the timing of this makes way more sense, and I really like it. That being said, as much as I think this is a cool outfit, I kind of think I like the original Achilles outfit better. Now, they do say at the bottom here that it will still include exclusive march and broadcast effects, which they did not reveal here, so it could be the case that, you know, maybe he has some like holy light that comes up on the battlefield when he does his AoE active skill. It could be really cool to see this on the battlefield, but without that, you know, without seeing it here, we don't know for sure. And just going off of this alone, I think I like the original design a little bit better. But it is also kind of funny to see he's just absolutely shredded. I mean, look at those biceps, look at the delts on this guy, the forearm, you know what I mean? Like, this is, he's got the obelisk, the tormentor build here, but he's dressed as like a priest, which is kind of funny. So the juxtaposition there I find humorous, but I like it. He keeps his signature flowing hair. Very cool. Now, the reason you probably click on this video is because of the new commanders. This is what everybody is kind of talking about here with this new update, and it feels a little bit sudden, right? We just got Alp Arslan landed in the game just a couple of days ago while I was on vacation. I actually don't even know what the community consensus is on him, because with the time difference in Japan, I have just not been watching content, and also the cellular data there was a little bit rough. Even though I spent a bunch of money to have it on my phone, I blew through it really quickly. Point is, I wasn't watching YouTube videos on cellular data, and we didn't spend a lot of time at the hotel, as you can imagine, because we were exploring, right? Which was fantastic, amazing trip, honestly, one that I will remember for my entire life. But that being said, Alp Arslan just landed in the game, and now we see 3 brand new commanders coming, which they did not say if these are legendary or not, but I mean, we know the next release cycle for the game is the leadership / siege cycle, and here you can see a leadership commander and a engineering commander, and then we also have a gathering commander. This is the first time we've ever seen that, but based on the troop type here, I think this is the next release of MGE Wheel of Fortune. And I mean, I guess we're getting a gathering commander as well. Now, the names here, okay, Vercingetorix, is that right? Vercingetorix? I don't, I'm probably mispronouncing that like crazy. Okay, he is a leadership, versatility, and support commander, which is exactly what we see from Hector. Okay, so this is basically the same, again, same talent build as Hector, same talent build as Philip. Looks like he's got a spear and a dagger. No idea what his active skills could be. If I were to guess, I would say single target damage, right? I mean, there's just nothing about a spear or a dagger that screams AoE, but I mean, doesn't Achilles have a spear? So I don't know, that's just me guessing, right? What I will say is, if you were considering investing in Philip or Hector, I would stop immediately. I would not invest in those commanders right now, because we don't know when he's coming out, but they've already revealed the design, and I know that they spent a long time in between the last commander release, Sun Tzu Prime, and Alp Arslan, so I imagine this commander commander release is going to come very quickly. Okay, they typically don't do back-to-back long commander release cycles, so I suspect he will land in the game at the shortest possible release window, which would be probably July 14th. That's my best guess for when we could be getting this release cycle, again assuming that it's a fast one, which I think it will be for all the reasons that we just touched on. So again, if you're thinking about getting Philip or Hector, I would definitely wait, because if he has any amount of decent synergy with cavalry or with anybody, this could be the guy. A couple of things: he would just need probably 20% march speed, maybe an instant proc, and then any amount of damage on the active skill, and he immediately will outclass somebody like Philip. And depending on the rest of his kit and cooldowns and things like that, I think it would be a very easy to imagine. I think it could very easily be the case that he would replace Hector as well. Now Hector still sees himself in some garrisons and things like that, so I'm not saying Hector's useless now, but again, I just want you guys to be very cautious and careful with your investments, because it would be super easy to replace the leadership commanders that we're using right now, because they are frankly underwhelming in today's meta. Everything just hits so insanely hard, and Hector and Philip do not. So if he's just a little bit of power creep on them, I think he will be a good commander that will take their shoes. Then we've got Elizabeth the First here, who is the one and only ranged commander that we see here, who is an engineering, versatility, and skill commander. This, this falls in the same footsteps as a single ranged commander like we saw with the last leadership release. And back then I did say that I wouldn't be surprised if going forward we would continue to see just a single leadership and a single ranged commander in perpetuity, because it seems to be the case that the developers are putting ranged on the back burner. I think in general it's kind of an unpopular play style amongst the community. People find it very frustrating, it's very annoying, it's very cheesy. It's just, when Gonzalo came out, it was just the easiest way to get kills imaginable, and I think that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. So because of that, I think they're turning down ranged a little bit, and again, I wouldn't be surprised if moving forward we continue to see just one new ranged commander every single time. Again, this is a skill damage commander, so I don't know how it's necessarily going to pair with somebody like Gonzalo, who continues to be the best in class ranged commander. So we'll have to wait and see. Maybe she has some insane synergy with some skill damage ranged commanders that we already have on the board, and if she is AoE, then this could be, I mean, again, this could be a Gonzalo 2.0 but just with skill damage, right? And in which case I think ranged could be back, so I don't want to write off ranged as like dead and gone. We have to wait and see what these skills actually are, and again, it wouldn't be that insane to imagine that one new AoE ranged commander can pull them back up to the meta, right? Or at least give them a new breath of fresh air, which I do think that a lot of ranged players really want right now. And so we'll have to wait and see what this commander actually does. And then we've got Yahya ibn Khalid. Sorry if I mispronounced that, I probably did. This is the one that really confuses me. Now my assumption here is that we're going to see the mightiest governor commander be the ranged commander, Vercingetorix is going to be the wheel commander, and then the gathering commander is probably going to be an event commander. Historically, that's what they do with these three commander releases for leadership. One of them is an event commander, the other two are your standard wheel and mightiest governor. That's how I think they're going to do this, but I could be wrong, right? The leadership commander could be the mightiest governor commander if he leans more towards like a rally garrison type, sort of like Hector, right? But for sure we're going to see the gathering commander be the event commander, right? Like there's no way this is going to be the wheel or the mightiest governor event, because nobody is going to spend any number of speed ups or gems or anything like that to get him. Okay, now what are we missing when it comes to gathering commanders? Well, we recently got a new gold gathering commander, and we also got a new food gathering commander, so I'm guessing he's either wood or stone, and I would put my money on stone if I'm being honest with you guys. Oh, I'm sorry, Pepin is a wood gathering commander. I completely forgot about that. Okay, so we've got 2 gold, 1 food, 1 wood, 1 stone. Okay, so honestly I think it's going to be stone or food, but it could be just a generic, I mean it could just be a generic gatherer, right? Like who knows? Either way, I'm not that excited about him. The last release of the gathering commanders, I was a little bit excited because it's like, oh, we got a new gold gatherer and we get a new commander that gives you plus 10% bonus resources. So unless he has that as well, I don't think this is very exciting. That being said, if they're going to put him in those commander chests, it's going to be annoying because I just spent all of them to max the last two, and now we've got another one. Kind of crazy. Okay, what that means is if he is food or stone, then for the next release we'll get either the food or the stone that we didn't get. Okay, so I think what they're trying to do is have 2 legendary gatherers of each type. Okay, that's my guess, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe he's just a generic gatherer, who knows. But yeah, those are the new commanders that they just revealed. Of course, if you guys want to know their skills as soon as they land in the game, or as soon as we get an update, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you're notified the next time that I upload a Rise of Kingdoms video. Let me know in the comment section below, are they releasing commanders too fast? I know we had a really big window of time between Sun Tzu Prime and Alp Arslan, and some people are saying Alp Arslan is kind of a skippable commander, so a new release right after that, very shortly after, might feel kind of bad. But also, we haven't had a commander that we needed to invest in quite a while, so speeding up the cycle, especially with a leadership release, which also might not be something that you need, probably isn't that bad of a thing anyway, right? Like, let's get back to commanders that we really care about. But let me know in the comment section below what you think. Is this too fast, or do you want to see them just move past this leadership release and get to the good stuff? While you're down there, make sure you drop a thumbs up on the video. It really does help out the channel a ton. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. This has been Omniarch. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Peace.